Roy Jones Jr. breaks down how Benavidez and Crawford can beat Canelo. It's pretty interesting. Let's talk.
Push the weight in no flex. Flex alive is one in the six. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Let's talk about it. Roy Jones Jr. recently in an interview gave his opinion on how he feels that Bud Crawford and David Benavidez can beat Canelo Alvarez. All of this surrounding, Canelo, and he's this hot commodity because these guys made him that way. What's he gonna do next? And who's he fighting? And they're throwing all this money at him. Is it going to be Jaime Munguia? But he wants a deadheaded Jamal Charlo. But at this level, you're a undisputed champion. You have 4 belts. You have 4 responsibilities. But the main responsibility is David Benavidez. And one of the things that they talked about, since you're one of the guys that can do whatever you want to do, is Bud Crawford, because he's undisputed in 140 and 147. And he said, I can make 168. That's what he says. And Canelo's saying, beating him does what for me exactly? Look, man, Canelo killed his own argument by fighting wounded animals. You went up to 175 to fight Sergey Kovalev after he had a hard fight with Anthony Yard. He didn't have enough time to rest and then prepare for the next fight, but he took it because he was having some legal issues, which I won't get into. But he made $12 million. That was the offer. He took it. Here, take that, Jamel. You made 10, and you still went in there and laid down. You didn't get stopped, but you got knocked down. You didn't. I ain't want to get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. Then you tried to sneak up back to 175 because you thought Dimitri Bivol was a wounded animal because he looked bad in his previous fight. He fought you and he pummeled you. All right, you could have went the WBC route and fought Artur Beterbiev, but we all know how that would have ended. If you don't believe me, if you disagree, tell him to go to 175 and fight Artur Beterbiev with no catch weight and see how that turns out. He won't do that. So this man has been picking and choosing, and I heard that Eddie Reynoso says he has to be careful in the direction in which he goes because he's at an advanced age. I have to do more research on that, but that's what I heard he alluded to. I don't know if that's what he said word for word, but basically, if he said anything remotely close to that, that tells you that he's picking and choosing. So now he's split from the PBC. They looked at Jaime Munguia. Then they looked at Edgar Berlanga, but now they're saying Berlanga is in line to fight David Morrell. All of this movement going on, and Canelo's officially holding up the 168 division. Why? Because he has the crown. And everyone's looking at him like, what are you going to do? But Terrence Crawford, that's clearly a money fight, and he's saying he don't want that. Well, I think it's a little different why he don't want that. First of all, I think Bud can compete. They're the same height. Oh, yeah, but, they're not the same size. I beg to differ. Why are we acting like we never seen Canelo Alvarez get outboxed? Why are we acting like we never seen that before? Yeah, but if Canelo lands, what if Bud lands? But let's talk about forget what I'm saying, because this is just opinion. I'm a supporter like everybody else. But let's get to what the retired professional Roy Jones Jr. had to say. He says it's a tough fight to call because Benavidez throws, he's talking about David now. Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Sometimes power can intervene and make that a different situation. He said the problem is Canelo willing to take that risk? I don't really think he is willing right now because I don't think he feels like he has a reason to. If he can't hurt Benavidez early in the first 3 rounds, I don't see him winning the fight. That's Roy Jones. Don't take my word for it. Take Roy Jones' word for it. Okay? There it is. Now, if you disagree, anybody that disagrees with that, here's how we solve this. Tell Canelo, the A side, to make the fight. Make the fight. Make the fight. Make the fight. I don't know how this is rocket science. I have no idea. Make the damn fight. Benavidez has been in line. He's been as mandatory for like 2 years. How is this rocket science? What you gonna do? Tell Roy Jones he's a hater? Don't play that card. Don't play no race card. Nothing like that. These guys are top tier, right? Make the fight. Make the fight. There is no excuse as to why Canelo has not fought this man yet. There's no excuse for this level of politics. And if you are a supporter of the sport, you cannot condone this. We're at a point where this is now disgusting coming from Canelo. This is your king. This is the face of boxing. This is how you are supporting him moving. Look, you can like the guy, you can love the guy, or whatever it is you guys want to do. But to deny David Benavidez his opportunity is disgusting. This guy's going in all directions. Do I have to remind you that this guy tried to, he offered to fight Badu Jack. And Badu said, hey, man, great. I'll fight Canelo. That's a brilliant payday for me. I might never have to fight again after I fight that guy. What are we talking about? Well, you got to come down 18 pounds. Badu Jack's not fat. 18 pounds of muscle. He says, screw that, screw you, and go ahead and fight who? David Benavidez. Trying to drain that man because he had a belt. This guy was legacy pattern. He tried to fight Makabu. I think Makabu lost to Badu Jack. Then he said, hey, Badu, let's do this. He said, hey, what we talking? You coming, what, 190 or what? No. Come down 18 pounds. What are you talking about? So why is that okay for him to drain people? But he don't want to fight a guy that is his contemporary at 168. And he's saying if I fight Bud and beat him, it means nothing. I beg to differ. Let's go back to what Roy Jones had to say. He said, if anybody could pull that off, it's Crawford. So you can't tell him no. This is what Jones said. He said, I was the kind of guy that if someone said they were better than me, and if I could get close to your weight, here I come. I gave John Ruiz 33 pounds when he won the heavyweight championship in 2003. I didn't care. I wanted to prove that I was pound for pound the best in the world and do something historic that had never been done. That's probably how Bud feels right now. He wants to do something historic to solidify his legacy in boxing. Who doesn't want to see the pound for pound best from yesterday fight the pound for pound best from today? Who wouldn't want to see that fight? It's a mega fight. If he puts the muscle and weight on, properly of course, how can you doubt him? One thing is for sure, is that he's going to go out there and fight, not just to collect the paycheck. That was a shot at Jamel Charlo. He's going to go out there and try to win the fight because that's who Bud is. If he carries the weight, it'll be a good fight. He can box just like Floyd Mayweather. Uh-oh. Why are we acting like we ain't never seen Canelo lose before? Floyd stood right there in front of him and Canelo missed all night long. And guess what, y'all? He hasn't gotten better. That's the same Canelo that we've been seeing. He was just able to outbox everybody. He's just been better than everybody so far, with the exception of Eris Landry Lara, but whatever. And he said he could fight also. He gets hit or he doesn't get hit. If he can take the punch at the weight, he'll probably win the fight. I don't understand why is this rocket science. He goes on to say it's definitely best that Alvarez stays at 168. I don't understand why he went to 175 to fight Dimitri Bivol anyway. He had already beaten Sergey Kovalev, who was at the end of his career. Bivol was in the middle of his. They are two different animals. He got the crusher at the right time. Didn't I just say that? Go back down and dominate where you're at. Don't try to fight another one because lightning ain't going to strike twice. That's Roy Jones Jr. saying this, y'all. So Canelo has options, but he's taking the path of least resistance. If you think that Bud Crawford is not a threat to Canelo Alvarez, you're bugging. If you think Canelo can ignore David Benavidez and get away with it and it's not going to put a stain on his career, you're crazy. We're watching. We're taking notes. And if he gets out the game and don't fight at least one of these men right here, trust me, I'm holding it over his head. I'm holding it over his head. I gave him full credit for winning the undisputed crown. Now you gotta defend it, man. And again, the networks are like, man, we ain't paying for certain things. You gotta give us Bud or Benavidez. If not, hang the belts up and get out of here. And the PBC shouldn't have even dealt with Canelo. They knew he was gonna do this. And now they're paying for it. Literally paying for it. Unbelievable. But it is what it is. Bronx on deck.
Move!